to part 2. Okay, so at the very top of your website, you're probably going to do an introduction of some sort. You're going to introduce the project, you're going to introduce yourself, not necessarily in that order. And then as we scroll down, you're then going to go ahead and start getting into the very beginning, early days of your project. So maybe the 0 to 25% of your project. Okay, so a very helpful tip is I'm going to go here to add, and for dividers, you're probably going to want to show the viewer that you're moving on to a new section. So you can do that a whole variety of ways. I'm going to only touch lightly upon visual style and design here, but you're probably going to want to show them that they're entering into a new section. And so there's a couple different ways that you can do that. You can come here to the shape category, and you can go do things here with like themed lines, and you can go ahead and you could add in a simple line. So I could go here to horizontal lines, and I could just drag in a simple horizontal line. You'll see that you can resize any artwork just by clicking and dragging on these handles here. If you see a little rotating arrow here, that's so that you can click and you can actually rotate that object. A quick word on these grid lines that you see here. Essentially, you want to put all the most important content here in the center. And that's basically so that if the person viewing your website is viewing it on a phone or tablet or smaller monitor, it's going to guarantee that all of your work is going to show up on here. Anything that goes outside into the margins, as you see I'm doing here, stands a chance of getting cut off. Now, in the case of this little horizontal line, that's not a big deal. But you're not going to want to put important text. You're not going to want to put photo galleries and things like that out there. And you're certainly not going to want to put anything really important to your project out there. But little graphical things that go outside are fine. So there you go. I just put in a horizontal bar. I can click on design or change design. I can then change the different theme. I can click on customize. I can change the color. You name it. And I can change the different style. So there's a couple different presets up here. So again, just play around with it and you can find, what works out for you. And there you go. You can change the line width. So just play around with it. And again, you can go ahead and lay in some text, and then that can then let the viewer know, where we're headed. So something like that. There we go. And I'll maybe set it up. And you could do something like that. Again, you'll have to figure out what kind of style and how you want to show your project. Let's go ahead and get into good old photo gallery, because that's what a lot of you are going to do. So I'm going to go here to add, simply go here to gallery, and you're going to see a whole bunch of different galleries. You will see at the top a bunch of them do say Pro Gallery. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one here called Thumbnail. So the Pro Gallery are ones that Wix has created, and there are a lot of features that are paid for, but there are a lot of features that are completely free that you can use and you won't have to pay anything. I'm going to go ahead and resize the gallery so it fits the full width here, and you can see it resizes, so that's all great. Okay, so when you're doing a gallery, you can click on Manage Media, and again, you can probably figure this whole screen out, but a couple tips. So first of all, you can reorder your gallery just by simply clicking and dragging. You can delete a photo from there by clicking on the little garbage can. If you click on a little paintbrush icon here, you can then go ahead and change some of the settings and things like that. So you can go ahead and play around with that. One thing that I see a lot of seniors do is when you click on a photograph over here, always put in a title. You don't have to have a description, but a description is nice, but always put in a title. what most seniors forget to do is they leave this, and it says the name of the image file. So it'll say something like DSC5467, and it's typically an image that your phone took. And so it just looks kind of sloppy and messy, like you just didn't get to it. You, of course, can add media, and you can add in, you'll see you can add in images and video and even text, which is brand new. Again, this is a feature of the Pro Gallery. If you don't use a Pro Gallery, then you're just going to be using images. So there you go. The only word of warning about a Pro Gallery is that you might, when you dig around in some of the settings here, you might find some of these settings here and you're like, oh, that's really cool. But maybe you have to pay for it. And so there you go. But for the most part, for most seniors, everything is here. The only thing I don't know if you can do, and a lot of seniors ask this, is you'll see this image here. It's cutting off her head here. I don't know if you can actually pan the photo up so we can see more of her. So that might be still a limitation. Okay. So what's the difference between a gallery and an image? Well, with a single image, you can place it anywhere you want, so that's nice. You do get greater flexibility, so I get full arrangement. I can physically arrange them in any way I want, so I could do them in a diagonal if I really want to get kind of a little fancier. But then that's it. It's definitely a lot more work. Ooh, look at that. And it just, while I was recording, it just had a problem there. So welcome to live recordings. Oh, and we're back. Okay. When I go into preview, though, the benefit of going with a gallery is that if I go ahead and I click on a photograph, it then goes ahead and it goes into a full screen, which is really cool. I then get navigation built in. You can see I get the titles, I get the descriptions here. It's just a really nice way of showcasing your work. And then you close it, and then boom, you're back into the website. So there you are. With a photograph, you don't get any of that, which is unfortunate. If you do click on a photograph and you want to be able to expand it, you have to go up here to settings, and then come down here, and you can add in a link. But right here where it says when an image is clicked, you can go ahead and say it opens in a pop-up. And then when you do that and you preview, now when you click, it'll go to something like that, which is nice, but it's not the same thing. And you'd have to do that for all of your images. So a photo gallery is definitely a way to go. Okay, so adding in video. Okay, so you've got the obvious choices here. I would say YouTube is probably the way to go. But I understand that you might not want your video to be public. Okay, something you have to think about, seniors, for video is that if you have somebody in your video that maybe they're minors, or they don't want their face to be seen on the video, you will have to pixelate or blur their face. I have a technique for doing that, but you'll have to come over to the lab to do that. It's fairly straightforward, but it does involve Photoshop, and that's going to take a little bit of time, so just have that in mind. But I think YouTube does allow the best viewing experience. So you basically just click on change video. You can even search for a video here, or you can just copy and paste the URL right down here. You probably don't want to set your video to private, but you can set it to unlisted if you don't want the whole world to find it. And that's it. That's pretty great right there. And you can see that it plays right there on your website. Plays right there on your website. They can still go full screen. They can even go to YouTube and they can see it on your channel. And there you are. Okay. If you really don't want it to go onto YouTube, just for comfort reasons, you can go here to video, and you can go to just straight up Wix video upload. And then you can go ahead and go to change video, and you can click on change, and you can then go to a video that you have uploaded. Okay, a video that's not really listed here that you might want to do if you really want it to be very private. and you don't want to put it out on Wix is that you could upload your video. You could make it a link to your Google Drive. That's probably the most private option. They don't really showcase it here, but what you would do is you'd store the video inside Google Drive. You then would make a shareable link, and then you could put the shareable link right here inside. You could either make it text, we could even make it a picture, and then when the teacher clicks on it, it then might open up another tab and they'll be viewing it in Google Drive. And that's one way that would be quite private. Okay, so moving on. Music is very self-explanatory, so just really quickly, again, you've got the audio players here. They're pretty straightforward. Yes, you can change the design and the colors and things like that on most of them. You can go to Wix Music, and this one here and this one here would allow you to do multiple tracks. Again, you can hook up a SoundCloud player. I generally don't recommend. I know it sounds like a good idea that you'd want to have background music playing. You first of all would have to think about copyright issue. You can't put in top 40 tracks to your website. It's also going to be a huge distraction. You don't want that, especially while you're presenting in front of your panel. You don't want music playing. You only want to use this if your senior project involved you creating music, or maybe your community being involved with music. Okay, moving on. How do you bring in documents into Wix? So most of your documents are in Google Docs or Google Drive, and you're going to bring them in as PDFs most likely. So there's two main ways of doing that. You're going to go here to Add, and you're going to go all the way down here to More, and under More, go all the way down here to the bottom to Document Buttons. And you'll see here that we have a couple different ways of representing a PDF. I usually like this second one here just because it's very obvious that it is a PDF. So if I go ahead and I click and I drag that in, you'll see that it takes you to upload here. So let me go back one step. So here's my sample Google Doc, and how do I convert this to a PDF? So all of your Google Docs, if you want to turn, say, your written reflection into a PDF, you can simply come up here to File, Download, and download it as a PDF. And it'll automatically download to your Downloads folder. Now, if you're on a Chromebook, I don't know if you're going to be able to get a straight up download like that, because Chromebooks, they operate a little differently than traditional laptops and desktops. Okay, but now I have a PDF. So now I can go here to Upload Media. I'm going to choose Upload from my computer, but you can also choose Upload from Google Drive if you've connected them. And I'll go ahead and bring in my sample PDF file, and there you go. There we go. So now it uploads. I'll select it and I'll add it to the page. And so there it is. It's not very nice looking, so that's the disadvantage. This doesn't take up much space, but that's the way it looks. You can click on design and you can basically change it, but that's basically the way it looks. Now, if you want to get a little bit fancier, what you could do is you could add in an image, and then you could link the image. So for instance, if this image here, if I wanted to link that, let's say this image was related to my senior project, I could go ahead and put this in as a visual, and that might be related to my project, and then I could just click on link. And when you go to link, you get a whole bunch of document, and then I could choose my file, and then I could choose the PDF. So that's all good. A prettier face to it. But what's going to end up happening is it's either going to open up in a new tab, or it's going to immediately download on the teacher's laptop, which they might not be expecting. So that's something you want to think about. The second way that I'll show you is a way that a lot of seniors seem to prefer last year. The second way is to actually have a viewer, a PDF viewer inside your website, so you don't have to download or open up another link or anything like that. So that's going to be the last thing that I show you in this video. All right, so to wrap up this video, let's go ahead. I'm going to come over here on the left-hand side, click on Add Apps, and in the search bar here, just type in PDF. hit return, and you're going to get a few results here. I like this one here. It's made by the Wix company, and you can see it says free. So just click on add. And here that you can click and drag, and you can make it, you can put it wherever you want. It does take up a pretty large amount of space, so you want to be mindful of that. I always recommend going out to either full width or close to that. Again, visibility is really important. If it's taking up, if you don't like the height, again, you can change the height. Please don't, scrolling is okay. Please don't make us view your PDF document in a PDF viewer that's this tall. That's silly. Okay, so give it some space. Okay, and there you are. So again, I recommend taking up either full width or close to full width. It just provides a much better viewing experience. So really simple. You just click on here, you click on settings, you upload your PDF. Okay. All right, so in preview mode, you can see that I get the PDF viewer here. I can scroll down. You'll see that they can zoom in. I can go to the different pages. It's really handy. The nice thing here, and you can mention this to them when you are presenting, is that there is a presentation mode where you can just now see everything here, and you can press the escape key on your keyboard and basically get out of that. So it is really handy to be able to do that. You can also go to the settings over here, and you'll see that you can choose the way that it looks. So you can do a, you can make it turn into that, which I don't recommend. You can see that you can change the display, and you can make it something called a mini viewer, which I don't recommend. One page is not bad. The mini viewer, I think a lot of seniors like the look of it. So let's just go ahead and try that. And I'll go ahead and maximize it here. So the mini viewer is really clean looking and modern, which I love. And it shows you that there are multiple pages, and you can go ahead and see that. You lose the ability to go to full screen. You can't just click on it. So I think it's okay that you use the mini viewer so that it adds in a nice clean modern look, but you now lose the ability to go into full screen mode and zoom in and zoom out. But to be honest, this is big enough for viewing, I think, that I think that it's okay. So if you really like the look of that, then you can make that choice. Okay, so I want to wrap this video up. You can basically just keep adding down here, just keep scrolling down, just keep adding down. When you get down here and you find you hit the footer, just click on the footer and just keep dragging the footer down, 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 and just keep adding content, and your website will go on forever. Other little odds and ends that you maybe didn't figure out, up here in the top right-hand corner, you have undo and redo. There is a little zoom out button. I'm not a big fan of it because what it does is it zooms out and it shows you your website divided up into sections, which is kind of a nice way of viewing your whole website. But what Wix allows you to do is it allows you to click on a section, and it allows you to then drag it and reorder it into a different order, which could be helpful. You can also delete spaces here, which could be really handy. I don't like how Wix divides up my website, how it just sort of does it on its own and divides it up. But if I wanted to put, say, this photo strip here, if I wanted to move it up, I could just drag and drop it, and I could try to do it like that, and it works pretty well. And then you basically exit out of Zoom, and you'll see that it did that. So you can try that. When it works pretty well. When it doesn't work, it has some problems. So just be mindful of that. Of course, go to Wix's YouTube channel. They have a bunch of how-to videos on how to do things. Please reach out to me. Come to the K7 lab if you're having any troubles, things like that, and I can help you out. But that is basically Wix in a nutshell. The final thing I'll put in here before I close out is the parallax effect that a lot of people seem to like. Again, don't do it just to do it. Do it because you really think it adds to your website. So the parallax effect is a scrolling effect on photos and videos. So you can see what this looks like without the parallax effect. So here's how you add it in. You simply click on your photo strip or your video. It has to be a photo strip. It can't just be a regular, it can't be a photo gallery, and it can't be a single photograph like this. So I have the photo strip right here that goes the full width. You click on Change Strip. You go here to Settings, and then down here under Scroll Effects, you can play around with them. But here's the parallax effect. You just turn it on, and then you go to Preview. And now if you watch very closely, as I scroll down, you'll see it has that really nice scrolling effect that gives a sense of depth and interactivity, and it's very easy to add in. And that can be played on video as well. Again, be very careful about adding it in so that it really complements your website. Okay, good luck and happy website developing.